Hello everybody and welcome to the 2017 Formula Challenge season opener from the Albert Park circuit in Melbourne. Jake Sanson here for the first round of the 2017 GPVWC single-seater action, and we are about to go racing for the first time in the new season. First blood in the first qualifying session of the year has gone to Metcalfe, and this is going to be a very interesting start to the season for him. He was only 13 thousandths of a second quicker than Roy Schroeter in qualifying, with Chris Shepherd in third ahead of Metcalfe, Roy Vazil and Mike Quinn. Patrick Vandermuller in seventh on the grid from Matthew Marquardt, Patrick Gerber, Johan Lindberg, Philip Koenig, Terence Grech, Bruno Souza Ferreira, James Early and co are in behind. Interesting start to the season then, as we have the 28 drivers heading out onto the starting grid. Sunny skies and 24 degrees Celsius around the circuit, just increasing to 25 in places. So track temperature is around 30 degrees at present, and that means that it is going to be a bone dry race throughout. The drivers, as you can see, are just making their final preparations for the race, practicing their starts, of course. And there's a lot of interesting developments that have happened over the last few months, as we prepare for the new season. Glad to be here and proud to be a new part of GPVWC, dipping the toe in the water. And hopefully it should be a very straightforward affair, this one, although there's plenty of drivers who are going to make a bit of a play in this first round of the season. Everybody is making their way out onto the starting grid. And let's talk you through very quickly. We should have enough time to talk you through the runners and riders for this new season, for those who have not kept in the loop. Arrow International Racing, owned of course by Sam Jones, has two drivers, latecomers to the grid. The number 26 of Patrick Vandermuller, and his teammate for the new season is going to be, I think that's going to be Mr. Clint, who is there in the second car. At Scuderia Basilia, the Swiss team, it is Mike Quinn, the Dutchman, alongside Metcalfe, who is currently the fastest man in qualifying and sets the pole position mark in the number 89, the Polish driver. Pacific Grand Prix, the Finnish team, has Bruno Souza Ferreira and Patrick Gerber on their driving strength. New squad, Downforce Racing, has the young Dutch talent Rolf Baas alongside, for the first round of the championship at least, the Swiss former Formula Masters Championship winner, Master Series champion David Junt. EJ Engineering has the Dutchman Wesley Stefano and the Englishman Will Barnes. The GPVWC Academy, run by Metcalfe, of course, who is going to be driving this year in one of the other teams. He races for Stax Racing, which is run by Christian Zurner, of course. The two GPVWC Academy drivers are Jared van der Weide and Philip Koenig, the German. Then we have the Holland Racing team, run by Dethan Rutring. Two drivers, Gerrit de Vries and Casper Onwin. The NEX Esports Club Brazilian squad has Lucas I'm going to try and get this right. Lucas Avzentiu, I hope that's right, with Iker Ramos in the second car. Red Arrow Racing has Nicolas Demetrius alongside the Spaniard Tomu Cabrera. Royal Blue Racing, run by Matthew Klipp, has Dave van Gils of Holland and Matthew Klipp as the racing driver for the team as well. Stax Racing, we've already mentioned Metcalfe. Alongside him is the Englishman Chris Shepherd. And then we have the Scottish team, the Mighty Fourth, run by Paul Joseph, who is in the driving strength along with Mark Breslin. The other drivers in the squad, well, we also have Thunderdog, their team, the Dutchman, run by Renk Hoekstra, who is also driving alongside Roy Schroeter, I should say. TR Bluvis Motorsports, the Mexican, with Terence Grech and Roy Vazil in that squad. The South African Brett Metcalfe and the Englishman James Early line up for the TTF Racing squad, run by Tyrone Frith. And then finally, YTF1 with the Swede Johan Lindberg and the South African Matthew Marquardt. Hopefully that's brought you all up to date. Apologies if there are pronunciations that are incorrect. We will get them right by the time we get to round two. But the first round of the championship here at the Melbourne Grand Prix circuit, Albert Park. As you can see, the sun is out, the sky is blue, there's not a cloud to spoil the view, etc., etc. And the cars are making their way around on their final warm-up preparations. So the big question is, who is going to be our first race winner in 2017? Well, they'll all want to emulate the fantastic antics of last year's champion James Johnson, who of course managed to pick up the spoils in front of Stefan Rult. It's going to be interesting to see who actually manages to get the job done in the final reckoning. So we will line up in position on the starting grid, and we should have ourselves a pretty humdinger of a race. Already talked through the grid, of course, so it'll be an interesting run to that first corner. And of course, we've got ourselves an incredible race ahead of us. The first of 16 races in the 2017 Formula Challenge season. We start the year, of course, here at Albert Park. 18 race season. Apologies. You just heard there. That is the call to the grid. And so we are now ready for action, very nearly, for the first race of the championship. 2 weeks' time, of course, we head to Sochi for the second round, followed by Shanghai, the Valencia Street Circuit in Spain for the Spanish Grand Prix, followed by the Red Bull Ring, the Circuit de Monaco, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Silverstone, Hungaroring, the Nürburgring, Spa-Francorchamps, Monza, Marina Bay in Singapore, Suzuka, the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City, followed by the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache in Sao Paulo, and the Yas Marina Circuit in the United Arab Emirates, finishing off our season. So, it's going to be an interesting one, this. The first race of the 2017 Formula Challenge season is very nearly upon us as we prepare to go racing for the first time in the 2017 season. Cars lining up in position, of course, now. And as we said before, it's going to be a strong start from the off for our pole sitter. Away we go on the formation lap. Let's run you through the grid once again. Maciej Mlinek on pole position from Roy Schroten. Chris Shepherd and Menno Clont on the second row. Roy Vazil and Mike Quint on the third, ahead of Patrick Vandermuller and Matthew Marquardt. Patrick Gerber and Johan Lindberg. Philip Koenig and Terence Gresh. Bruno Souza Ferreira and James Early. Paul Joseph and Wesley Stefano. Next up, it is Matthew Klipp in 17th on the grid, and then it is Dave Van Gils. Rolf Baas in the first of the Downforce racing cars. And then in behind him, it is Tomu Cabrera, the Spanish driver. Next up is going to be Mark Preston, along with his teammate Casper Onwin in the Dutch racing team. Then it is Gerrit de Vries in 23rd position. Just having a look at the qualifying session all the way through. You can just see the remainder of the drivers in position, the last 5 lining up there in position. The fastest lap in qualifying, as we said before, Maciej Mlinek at the start of qualifying. The fastest lap for that particular session was a 1:35.018. So that is the lap that everybody wanted to beat, and the only one really to get particularly close to it, the only two to get close to it, were Roy Schroten and Chris Shepherd. 13 thousandths of a second off the pace in the case of Schroten, and 21 thousandths off in the case of Shepherd. That gives us an indication we're going to have a particularly close run thing here at Albert Park in Melbourne. Fantastic start to the new 2017 season in the offing as the drivers bring their cars around for the first race of the 2017. I'm getting very excited actually. The first race in the Formula Challenge season for 2017. So as the cars bring their way around, it's going to be Mlinek in the Scuderia Basilia number 89 that lines up on the pole position. The Thunderdog of Roy Schroten in second. Chris Shepherd in the Stax Racing 37 in third. Menno Clont, his teammate, in 4th position on the grid. Roy Vazil, Mike Quint, Matthew Marquardt, Patrick Gerber, Philip Koenig and Terence Gresh rounding out the top 10 as the drivers get their final brake tests and tyre heating procedures underway as we get ready for the action. Mlinek on the right, Schroten on the left, Shepherd and Clont in there as well on the second row. Be sure to watch for Roy Vazil on the third row in the first of the TR Bluvos Motorsports cars. He's sure to be a strong contender from his position. As the last few cars take up residence on the grid, the lights are coming on, and when they go out, we're racing for the first time in 2017 Formula Challenge. Now, and it's a good start from the pole from Mlinek. Schroten's going to try and beat into it, but no, Mlinek's got a great getaway. The two Stax Racing cars trying desperately to sort each other out in the first corner, and it's a strong start from the second Scuderia Basilia car. Looks like Mike Quint's trying to get in there, but out into the first corner. It's a perfect start from Mlinek. The two Stax Racing cars are still side by side. They need to sort this out before they get to turn 3. One of them's got to take the lead, and in this case, it is the 37 of Shepherd who gets to the corner first. Other than that, oh, we got a spinner in the background. Now, who's that's gone? That looked to me like one of the downforce cars. We'll have a double check, but we've got a spinner towards the back. No, looks like the downforce cars have all gone through A-OK. So who is that at the tail end? Charlie. Now that looks to me like... I couldn't quite see who that is right at the back. Ah, that's one of the BM Boys cars by the look of it. And already a nose needing repairs. Now that is the number 26. So if I do my math right, that's one of the Arrow International Racing cars, I'm afraid to say. And I think that is Patrick Vandermuller. So a problem there for Vandermuller in the early part of proceedings. There's your race leader though. Mlinek doing a great job and already going purple in the first two sectors. No surprises there. Schroeton, Shepherd and Clont very close indeed in terms of battles. Whoops, a bit of a moment there for Roy Schroeton as he puts one wheel on the dirt. Goes very wide in the penultimate couple of corners into turn 15. And we've got a bit of a bottleneck developing here as Schroeton is starting to lose ground to Maciej Mlinek out in front. So Mlinek doing a great job in the lead of the race, has already pulled out a bit of a gap. The difference is already 1.3 seconds after the first lap. So all going full guns blazing from Mlinek. Schroeton in second, Shepherd, Clont, Quint, Gerber, Vezil, Koenig, Grech and Sousa Ferreira. Oh, that's a bit of a moment. Oh, and into the barriers. Now, who was that went in there? That's going to be a big moment in terms of the damage to the car. I think that's Roy Vezil, is it? Yes, and a little bit of contact from one of the GPVWC Academy cars. That's got to be Philip Koenig. So problems then already for those two. Just getting it a little bit too wide. And damage to the front end of Roy Vezil's car. So Vezil desperately trying to hold on to it though. I'm not letting you through now, bucko. Do you really think I'm going to give this up? Patrick Gerber is just waiting in the wings, ready for an opportunity as well. Gerber's going to try to the inside line. Can Philip Koenig hold him off? Yes, he does. He's already halfway past the Blivos Motorsports car of Roy Vezil. Now Gerber's going to try and look to the inside line. Here comes Philip Koenig. Great move up the inside. He's going to get there and Gerber's going to go with him. Oh, desperately trying not to surrender, but there's not a lot that Roy Vezil can do about it. And, oh dear, 2 or 3 cars off behind as well. Now that looked to me like Sousa Ferreira and Marcard going wide. But they both managed to get through A-OK. Oh, that's 2 cars colliding. That's the YTF1 cars tagging. So unfortunately, Marcard and Lindbergh get a little bit too close to each other. That's not very teammate-ish. Problems there. And they're going to have to make a bit of an impression on the car in front. Oh, that's a little bit tight. But up the inside, trying to get past James early. It's not going to happen on that occasion. Now we're watching the 23. That is Wesley Stefano in the EJ Engineering car. And he's having to deal with Rolf Bass in the Downforce Racing car. Up the inside. Can Rolf Bass get through? Into turn 1. He's going to make his move. No, he hangs back. He waits for his opportunity. Great battles all the way through this field in the early stages. There is Rolf Bass, the Dutchman. One of the Academy drivers in the Open Series from last year. And he's already acquitting himself very well in the brand new Downforce team. There's the 71 car. That's Patrick Gerber of the Bastfit Grand Prix team. And now we're back towards the front. And look, there's a big gap that's developed now between the Stax Racing cars as Menno Clont has got to deal with a very feisty Mike Quint. Can Mike Quint make the move on the outside line? Menno Clont having to defend like crazy to hold him off. Oh, he's made a mistake on the exit and the back end comes out. He gets onto the grass and he's going to let at least one more through. There goes Philip Koenig. That's a big problem for Menno Clont. What a disaster. The back end just getting a tiny bit loose. And in these cars, once the front end starts to go, the back end flicks. And you've almost got to be very careful in overcorrecting. You can't really throw the car through. You've just got to let the car travel into the first part of the slide and then pick yourself back up again. And unfortunately, Menno dropped the ball just a tiny bit there. He saved it well and he's avoided damage. But that has punished him. He's got 2 places lost now rather than just the one as Roy Schroeton nearly loses it through the final turn. That's an invitation for Chris Shepherd, who was purple on the last lap. He set the fastest lap last time around, a 1:36.181. So Shepherd is actually now gaining a lot of ground here. So while we're watching these two, let's just talk you through the order after the 3rd lap. Mlinek is leading from Schroeton, Shepherd, Quint, Koenig, Clont, Vezil, Gerber, Grech and Sousa Ferreira. And that's a spin! Oh no, Chris Shepherd, the back end came around again. That's exactly what happened to his teammate Menno Clont. He manages to recover the car and he's brought it actually right in front of Mike Quinn. So Mike Quint has already had to deal with one of the Stax Racing cars sliding around. Now he's got to deal with the other one. He's caught it up. This could be a very prosperous first race of the season for the Scuderia Basilia team. But Maciej Mlinek out in front. The pole is just romping away. No issues at all for him out front. There he is. Mind you, the gap has come down, hasn't it? Roy Schroten in the Thunderdog car is not a million miles away. It's only about 7 or 8 car lengths, I would say, as they go through turn 11, through turn 12. Easy to get it wrong through that part. Schroten right on the lock stops, using all the curbs he possibly can. Down towards 13. Onto the brakes. Nice coast through the curbs. Absolutely beautiful car control from both these guys, pushing it to the limit. Here's the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. That is Menno Klont trying to close up on Philip Koenig, but he's got Roy Vazil for company. So Vazil hitting the wall. He's lost a section of his front wing. It was the right-hand side of the car that went into the wall, but despite that damage, Vazil has not dropped in pace. If anything, he's actually quicker than Menno Klont in the splits. In the first sector, he was 4/10 up. In the second sector, he was a 10th up. So he's doing a great job. So cycling through to the back of this field, that is Johan Lindberg. And then we've got Wesley Stefano and Paul Joseph. I love the Mighty 4th team livery this year. It looks very patriotic in the blue Saltire colours with the black, blue and white insignia. Beautiful display of car control there as well. Through the first corners for Paul Joseph. That's Gerrit de Vries in the Holland Racing Team car. Brer, former Open Series driver in the Downforce car that made it into the Formula Challenge a couple of times. Good to see he's now an established driver in the team. And the next man up, that is, that's the Downforce car. That is David Junt. So where is the man in there as well as the 65? That's the other Red Arrow Racing car. That's Nicholas Dimitris. That's why I was getting confused. Apologies there. Then we move on to the 41. That is Brett Metcalfe behind Jared van der Weide. Casper Onwen is next, and then it is Mark Preston. And unfortunately, after that, my timing screen doesn't quite go beyond 23 drivers. So there is the 51. The 51 is in there next. That is going to be, according to my entry list, the 51 belongs to Matthew Clipp in the Royal Blue Racing car. That is the second of the cars belonging to the squad running in the second position. That is Rienk Hoekstra we just saw there. There's his teammate in second position. That man is difficult to catch in his current form. The Pole, Maciej Mlinek, is doing a great performance at the moment out front. There is Schroten trying to keep tabs on him. Third position, that's the second Scuderia Brasilia car of Mike Quinn, the Dutchman. So that's the way it looks at the moment. Mlinek, Schroten, Quint, Shepard, Koenig, Klont, Vazil, Gerber, Grech and Sousa Ferreira. That is the 37. That's Chris Shepard. Was running in the top 3, now running in 4th, trying to get away from Philip Koenig, who I have to say, in the GPVWC Academy car, is acquitting himself very well here in the first round of the championship. There is Koenig, the German. And he's done an absolutely cracking job in the early stages for a newbie. Certainly one of the highest ranking of those drivers. There is Menno Klont running well in 6th position, sorry. Then it's Vazil and Gerber still battling away over that 7th and 8th spot. And then in behind them, that's the yellow nose of the second Blue Voss Motorsports car. We haven't mentioned Terence Grech much, but Grech is in there in that 9th position. You can just tell the two cars apart. The nose of his teammate, Roy Vazil, is purple. This is the yellow-nosed and winged car of Terence Grech, running well at the moment in front of Bruno Sousa Ferreira. Whoa, that's a big moment. Goodness me, Patrick Gerber very nearly costing the Bastwick Grand Prix team dearly there. Their car's running in 8th and 9th at the moment, Gerber and Sousa Ferreira. That was a close one. Whoops, and up in front. Another big mistake there for Roy Vazil, but again, the car control is fantastic. Any other driver might have chucked that into the chicken house at the side of the circuit, but not Vazil. He made it work, and he managed to get the car going without too much of an issue. So the battle going on for 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. It's all pretty static between those four, but it's almost as if they're daring each other to blink and make an error. What could get quite spicy behind them, though, is this battle. Here we go, the 11th place battle. Early, Markar and Lindberg. Now, that's the two YTF1 cars, and they've already got into the wars once in this race, and there's a very good chance that they might get into it again. Now, James Early, they have struggled to keep up with him in the last couple of laps. So I wonder if there's going to be some team play here between Markard and Lindberg. If Markard can't get past him, then maybe they might allow Lindberg to go through. So already there's been some difficulties. Let's have a look and see how it goes between these two. Well, they're starting to separate out a little bit, actually. But now, James Early is the man on the move. He's closing up on this man, Bruno Sousa Ferreira. So Bruno Sousa Ferreira trying to hold on to this position. Ooh, careful. He almost binned it right in front of his rival, James Early. And the Englishman, James Early, is on the charge. He managed to pick up a good toe. Is he going to be able to have a look? No, he won't make the move, but he's certainly going to put Sousa Ferreira under pressure. If he makes a mistake, Early's going to be right on him. Early pushing very hard off the brakes. Down the straight. Let's see if they get to the braking zone. Is Early going to look? He has a dive, then thinks better of it. Is that enough to force Sousa Ferreira's hand? No, he's been very calm there. Cool, calm and collected Sousa Ferreira. Not going to succumb to the pressure. Oh, Early goes a little bit wide though. And he saved that beautifully. If that was me, that would have been a one-way trip to the wall. Oh no, disaster! Into the wall goes Terence Grech in the second Blue Boss Motorsports car. And that's a damaged front wing. That's his chances of being in the top 10 today. Gone up in smoke. So now he rejoins in front of the EJ Engineering car of Wesley Stefano, who's still battling it out with Paul Joseph in the mighty fourth car. And he overshoots at the first corner. What a disaster. Poor Terence Grech. He just lost it. Easy to do on the final turn. And now Garrett de Vries is going to go through. Tomo Cabrera is going to go through. David Junt, Nicholas Dimitris, Jared van der Weide, and the rest of them before he gets back to the pits, no doubt. And that is how tricky it is to control a car when it's got no front wing. Barely able to get round it. Now, this is a nice little battle going on. Tomo Cabrera and David Junt. Now, David Junt, of course, is the ex-Master Series champion. And he runs another team in the championship, of course, but he's doing this first round as part of Downforce Racing just to see if he's still got what it takes to run at this level. And then he might well join another team later in the year. So the second seat at Downforce Racing is going to be a bit Pacific Grand Prix-ish with drivers hopping in and out over the course of the year. But it gives new talent a chance. And David Junt is just doing a favour to the team boss. So there is the 93. I was going to make a joke there and say that the team boss is some bloke called Alan Charles, which is, as some people know, my alias. So yes, it is my team out there. So David, look after the car. And he's doing a good job, actually. So too is the other driver in the squad, Rolf Bass, although he did go off the circuit a little earlier on. Where is Rolf at the moment? I think he's working his way down the order. But back to the front. That is Chris Shepherd. Mike Quint is third. Second is Roy Schroeten, but the gap has opened up again. Maciej Mlinek is now 3.8 seconds clear and doing a fantastic job out in front. There he is. Great run this, and the J-List Motorex car number 89 of the Scuderia Basilia entrant, the Polish driver Maciej Mlinek. He got pole position, don't forget, by less than a thousandth of a second. Well, less than a quarter of a tenth of a second. And yet, he's been able to get so consistently far ahead of the rest of his rivals. The gap is opening up. Now, in the first sector, he was quicker than Schroeten. What's it in the second split? He does a 26.8. Schroeten does a 26.9. So again, the pace is very good and consistent from Mlinek. This is the kind of pace we're expecting to see. Oh, good battles going on, and that's off the road. That's Mike Quint. Mike Quint goes off in his battle with Chris Shepherd. Now, we didn't really see what happened at the start of that, but now Koenig is going to seize an opportunity, is he? Oh, that final spot on the podium is definitely up for grabs now as Shepherd races to get away from Quint and Philip Koenig. Now, this is where the real action's going to be then for the next couple of laps while these three settle each other out. But Shepherd and Mike Quint getting very close to each other, almost too close. I wasn't sure. It looked to me like they might have tagged. It could have been a bit of lag, but I think they might have tagged each other then. Behind these guys, thanks to the sudden demise of Grech, it is now Vasil, Gerber, Klont, Early and Sousa Ferreira who are rounding out the top 10. Oh, bit of a wobble there for Gerber, but he manages to hold on in front of Menno Klont. But as we can see, it's pretty static. There might be a mistake or two, but at the moment, it's the third place battle that's very tasty. Here we go. Chris Shepherd in the Stax Racing number 37. Was that an off from Roy Schroeten, or was that a back marker? Well, it certainly tripped Shepherd up. He lost focus for a moment. And now he's going to have to try and get it all back together in time for the chicane. Now, that is one of the slower cars up in front. I think that's Patrick Vandermuller. If not, then it's going to be his teammate. Didn't entirely see who it was in that car. I think that's going to be Wilt in that particular car. Oh, now my timing screen has come to play. But oh, now that's the... Is that Schroeton? Is that Schroeton? I think that is the second place man, Schroeton. Or is it his teammate? No, that is Schroeton. So, goodness me. Hard attack on a plate there. That was Hoekstra who went off, his teammate. It was an easy mistake to make. They're two identical cars in appearance, and one is in the back of the field and one is at the front. But they're about the same area of the circuit. Now, they've got a bit of an issue here. Oh, well, they did have, but moving right across. Wilt just gets out of the way and lets them all go in the battle for third position. But the man who got held up in all of that was Philip Koenig. So now we've got this great battle, Shepherd versus Quint. They continue to scrap away. Oh, this is getting very tight between these guys. Brilliant battling in this race. So Mlinek continues to lead. Schroeton is still second, looking very solid. But this is the battle for third position, and this is where the action is. Mike Quinn hovering all over the back of Chris Shepherd. Koenig is fifth. Fazil, Plont, Early, Sousa Ferreira, and now Matthew Marcard has moved up into the top 10. So the man who's dropped back is Patrick Gerber. Not sure what happened to him on the last lap, but Gerber is now down to 12th behind Marcard and Lindbergh. But now it looks as though Chris Shepherd has got his rhythm back, so he's making a little bit of an indent into the lead of Roy Schroeton. He sets a personal best first sector, a 33.0. Even quicker than Mlinek on that first sector. So all looking tasty at the moment as they continue their run through turn 9, through turn 11 and 12. Oh, sliding about, Chris Shepherd pushing hard. Oh, and that's an off from behind. Mike Quinn, he overshot. So Mike Quinn feeling the pressure. I didn't think that was going to be the way it went down. I thought Quinn would actually pressurise Shepherd into the mistake, but he didn't, and he goes off again. Now this is an open invitation for Philip Koenig. But this is a problem for Scuderia Basilia's driver, Mike Quint, because as things stand at the moment, this team is due to be the leading team in the championship, with their cars running first and fourth. But if Quint drops the ball, well, that's not going to be the way it would be. That would be potentially Stax Racing getting more points overall. So Mike Quint needs to just forget it, get back on with it, because he's got pressure from this man, Philip Koenig, the GPVWC Academy driver. And I have to say, number 101 is doing a great job. There's Roy Bazil. How is he still keeping up the pace with that damaged end plate? Then you've got Menno Klont. And then there's James Early. I'm really impressed with him in the latter stages of this race. Early's been very strong indeed. Then we've got Sousa Ferreira and Matthew Marcard moving into the top 10. And we've got the YT F1 cars going wide. It looks like in the background we just had Hoekstra going wide again to move out of the way. Oh, that's a problem for the Stax Racing car. Wing's gone. That's the 37. That is Chris Shepherd. I don't believe it. Chris Shepherd is out of it. There is his car. So Chris Shepherd is out of proceedings, and that's a bit of a hop over the curbs for the 93 of Tomu Cabrera. But Chris Shepherd is out of the race by the look of it. He's certainly got too much damage, and this is Rolf Baas trying to make his move up the inside. That's Rolf Baas having a go for Brett Metcalfe. He thinks better of it. No, sorry, that is the 53. That's David Junt going for Gerrit de Vries. My apologies. But unfortunately, in front of them, there is Chris Shepherd. His race in ruins. What on earth happened out there? Excuse me, apologies, but Chris Shepherd out of the race. It's kind of given me a frog in the throat there, because poor Chris Shepherd was running very well in third position. And it was he who dropped the ball. So now Quint is back up to third. Excuse me, I lost my voice a couple of days ago commentating on a karting race, and I'm about to lose it again if this keeps it up. Gerrit de Vries in front of David Junt as they continue to battle for 14th position. But I'm afraid to say, Chris Shepherd, fastest lap of the race is still his. But I'm afraid it's all come to nothing. Shepherd returns to the pits. You just see him there going into pit lane. But Chris Shepherd, this is a nightmare. And I would not be surprised if he decides that is game over. Well, it's a shame, but unfortunately, if you drop the ball, you drop the ball. And it looks like we have 2 retirements now, because we have Wilt, who has already pulled the car off the road, and now Shepherd has done likewise. Well, Shepherd's repaired the car, so he's going to get out and get a few more laps in. Wilt is in the garage. His race is over. Now, that is, well, we did briefly see Schroeten. Quint is third. There's Koenig, and there is Vasil. 2 very impressive drivers here. Vasil and that man, James Early, doing a great job, because looks to me as though we've got a little bit of lag creeping up here, unfortunately. But James Early, he has done a great job, running very well in this race, and his composure has been very strong, and that has put him into 6th position. So James Early working very hard. He's got Meadow Clont up behind him. New personal best from Early. He does a 1:36.6 that time round. So a great run. There is Meadow Clont. So Meadow Clont is doing a reasonable job to get back on terms with Early, having dropped to 7th position, of course. So let's see how things continue on for the Stax Racing team. One of their cars, Chris Shepherd, was running up in 3rd place. He is now, by the way, down in 26th, behind Van Gils, Vandermuller and Onwin, and still in front of Klipp and Hoekstra. Well, it's not been a perfect race for all. This guy's not done too badly, though, has he? Bruno Sousa Ferreira. And then we've got the 2 YTF1 cars. Well, we did have the 2 YTF1 cars in the top 10, but then Patrick Gerber came back. There he is, up into 10th position, although he's in danger of losing that place again now. Here comes Matthew Marquardt for a way through, and he's got him. So Matthew Marquardt gets back through. Patrick Gerber down to 10th position, having a great battle, and in there as well is Wesley Stefano in the EJ Engineering car. Great battle this. Right, we seem to have lost the image, unfortunately, of Gerber, because he's gone off the road by the look of it. A little bit of lag creeping in, unfortunately. Now, where is Gerber? Has he fallen behind this lot? He's there or thereabouts, surely. Well, Gerber is showing up on my timing screens as being in 10th position. But we're on the last lap, as we know. Mlinek is going to be the race winner at this point. I can't see him being beaten. This is a 15-lap race, and Maciej Mlinek is on the final tour. So let's catch up with him. He's out in front, doing an absolutely cracking job. And there he is. He's just gone through the first sector, Maciej Mlinek. This has been a masterclass drive from the pole. Started from pole, and he is going to come through to take a famous victory here in the Scuderia Basilia car. He just needs to hold it together for the final few corners. He hasn't really put a wheel wrong all race. Through the flat out left kink. There's Roy Schroeten in 2nd. Mike Quint will be 3rd if it stays as it is. So 2 Scuderia Basilia cars on the podium. But Menno Clont is looking to come back on James Early on the final lap and get back into the top 6 for the pride of the Stax Racing team. It could be a tough one to leave if we're going to have to watch the winner going across the line, because these 2 still battling away. Menno Clont has a look. But the checkered flag is getting ready for Maciej Mlinek, the pole up in front. So we should really go back to him. It's been a fantastic race. Out of the final turn comes Maciej Mlinek, the pole. He has been an absolute thunderbolt in this race. He comes through, celebrating in fine style. Maciej Mlinek wins in Australia, the first race of the Formula Challenge season for 2017. Great drive from Roy Schroeten in 2nd place. And Mike Quinn makes it 2 Scuderia Basilia cars on the podium. An almost perfect start to the season. Great drive from Philip Koenig in 4th. He should be very happy indeed with that. Roy Vasil, very mature drive in 5th, despite that damage to his end plate. And there's Early coming through on his own. So Menno Clont must have dropped the ball. And he crosses the line, and he's parking the car in frustration. Bruno Sousa Ferreira in 8th. Lindbergh is 9th. Gerber comes home in 10th position. Marquardt, Stefano, Joseph, Junt is going to come through in 14th, having beaten Gerrit de Vries over the line. Good battle between those 2, and it ends in the favour of the Swiss driver, David Junt. Tomu Cabrera comes home in 16th, the Spaniard. Then his teammate, Nicholas Dimitris. Not a bad run for Red Arrow Racing. It's a good start. Then Mark Breslin will be next in the mighty 4th car, the Scottish team. Good performance from Breslin. He comes home in front of the 2nd GPVWC Academy driver, Jared van der Weide. Terence Grech recovers to be in 20th position in front of Dave Van Gils and Patrick Vandermuller. And then it comes Rolf Baas. Rolf Baas in the downforce car comes through. And then the last few stragglers will finish. Chris Shepherd. What a day it's been for Chris Shepherd. Still, I believe the fastest lap of the race was Chris Shepherd's. Metcalfe is 25th ahead of Clip, Onwin, Hoekstra and Wilt. And that is your lot. The 29 car field. I said 28 at the start. I was mistaken. But it's a great victory for Maciej Mlinek. What a great result. And the Scuderia Basilia team are very, very impressed. Oh, it looks as though in the celebrations, Maciej Mlinek has lost his front wing by the look of it. Clearly, donuts are not always good for you on a Grand Prix grid. I didn't see what happened to it. Good performance from Thunderdog, Roy Schroeten, and he comes through coasting with his team boss there, Hoekstra, who was at the back. But it's a second place for his man, Roy Schroeten, and that's positive. But Philip Koenig, for me, is the standout performance of that race in the GPVWC Academy car. Oops! It's all post-race, so I suppose a little bit of carnage doesn't do too much damage. Although both of the Thunderdog cars are now completely eliminated. But there we are. What a performance then from Maciej Mlinek. It's been a fantastic race for them. And they really have put on quite a show, it has to be said. So what a stunning performance it's been. And I have to say, a great way to begin the season. We had some great battles in that one. Chris Shepherd and Mike Quint doing a great job. Having a good battle. Chris Shepherd, I think, was still the fastest man of the race. But as far as I can tell, not a single mistake in that entire race for the Polish driver Maciej Mlinek, as the last few stragglers come into the pits to finish off their race. Well, his winning advantage in the end was just 3 seconds, so he never pushed harder than he had to. Mike Quint was quite a long way back. Wow. Great start to the season and great action from the Albert Park circuit in Melbourne. That was worth the wait, wasn't it, folks? A great start to the year, and the Pole, Maciej Mlinek, has definitely given us something to think about. Great start to the season then in GPVWC in the Formula Challenge. And, well, what else can we say other than that is a perfect way to start the season. Don't forget, of course, there is more action tomorrow in the second race of the week, which comes, of course, from the Super Cup. Same circuit, same time, different drivers and different teams. So it is going to be an incredible start to their year as well. But, wow, very, very happy with the way that's come out with that first race. But, of course, we have another one coming up because they're going to do it all over again. Practice is starting now for the next 20 minutes for their second race. So, race 1 goes over to Maciej Mlinek, but is there going to be a different winner in the second? It's hard to say otherwise. But as we can see now, practice is underway. So, another 20 minutes of that is going to be part of the proceedings. So for the next 20 minutes or so, they're going to be out and about practicing. We'll try and come back in time for qualifying for the second race, and we'll be able to see what happens as a result of that. It's going to be an incredible second race a little bit later on in the evening. So what we'll do then is we will take a quick pause, and when we come back, we will have the second race of the evening. What a great way to start the season. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Albert Park circuit in Melbourne, Australia for the second of the 2 races in this season opener for the Formula Challenge 2017. Jake Sanson here, overlooking the grid in the commentary box, and well, after that first race, we're in for a cracker because it's reverse grid time, and they did the draw just in the warm-up, and it was decided that the man who finished 12th will start on pole position, and that is that man, Wesley Stefano, in the EJ Engineering car. So it's going to be a big challenge for him. Matthew Marquardt will line up beside him on the front row of the grid. Then it will be Patrick Gerber in 3rd position, along with Johan Lindberg. Bruno Souza Ferreira will be next in the lineup along with Menno Klont. Then it is going to be James Early along with Roy Vazil. Philip Koenig will be in 9th position alongside Mike Quint. Then it's going to be Roy Schroeten and the Race 1 Dominator, the pole sitter and the pole, Maciej Mlinek. Then it's going to be David Junt in the first of the downforce cars, ahead of Gerrit de Vries. And it is, apologies, no, it's going to be slightly different. It's going to be Joseph in front of Junt. That's why I got de Vries. Then it will be de Vries. Tomu Cabrera should be next, but he is going to start the race from the pit lane by the look of it. Dimitres will be next. Then it is going to be Breslin in front of Van der Weide. And then it will be Grech. Van Gils is next ahead of Patrick Vandermuller. Then it is going to be the leading downforce driver, Rolf Baas. Chris Shepherd, sorry, will have to start from all the way down in 24th. And what a fight back that's going to be. Metcalfe is going to be 25th on the grid, from Clip in 26th, Onwin in 27th, and Hoekstra in 28th. No sign of Wilt for this second race. So obviously he has decided not to take up the restart. That is a shame. So it's going to be a really interesting second race, that is for certain. We're now looking forward to the next race of the season. But Maciej Mlinek is not going to have it so easy to dominate. He's going to have to start from back in 12th position. But what is the pressure going to be like for Stefano going to the first corner with Marquard? Now, it was a clean start and a pretty much clean first lap, but I have a feeling that with the reverse grid in place, there's going to be some fireworks on the run down to the first corner this time. So Stefano on the right, Marquard on the left, Gerber, Lindberg, Souza Ferreira, Klont, Early, Vazil, Koenig, Quint, Schroeten and Mlinek is your top 12 in reverse order from their race 1 finishing positions. So, who's going to get the whole shot to the first corner? Is it going to be a YTF1 car? Marquard and Lindberg hogging the first 2 cars on the right side of the grid. But then, of course, there's the 2 Bastvik Grand Prix cars of Gerber and Bruno Souza Ferreira. They could be strong off the start as well. But keep an eye on the Scuderia Basilia cars. They will be a strong fighting force as well. So, lights are coming on. When they go out, we're racing again in Formula Challenge in race 2 here in Australia. Banzai! Great start from the second row, initially from Patrick Gerber and Johan Lindberg. And Gerber looks like he could be a threat going to the first corner. Marquard's been a slow getaway from Marquard. So it's going to be round the outside and a great start. Oh, a bit of a wobble from one of the Scuderia Basilia cars in the mid-pack. But it's a great start for Gerber, and Gerber's already going for Wesley Stefano. Wesley Stefano is going to have a bit of a job here to keep him back, and round the outside goes Gerber. He goes deep, onto the curb, onto the grass, and everybody else is trying to get through turn 3 without incident. Looks to me like they've all managed to get through. So Stefano continues to lead in the EJ Engineering car. Gerber is up to second. Third position is Marquard from Souza Ferreira, Lindberg, Klont, Vazil, Koenig, Quinn and Schroeten. Now, Mlinek has not really been able to move up. He's there in 11th position in front of James Early. But here comes some overtakes, no doubt, down towards the chicane. Looks like already Quinty's going to make the move on Koenig. They tangle. Now, have they managed to stay away from each other? They are still side by side, and here comes Schroeten in for the move as well. Vazil is trying to keep them all at bay, and he's going to struggle. 4 cars squabbling for the same bit of track, and there's somehow not a major incident between those 2 as Quint gets tangled in there with Koenig. They managed to avoid the contact with Schroeten, but now here comes Maciej Mlinek right into the middle of the pack, and somehow they just about avoid each other. Now it looks like Mlinek has got through into the lead of those 2. Yes, he has. So clearly, team strategy there. They've got something planned. Mike Quint just moves over and lets him go. Meanwhile, charging back through the field, Terence Grech is trying to come through in the Bluebus Motorsport car, and he's battling there with Gerrit de Vries. De Vries remains in front for the moment. So, a crazy first lap, but just about without incident. That's the most frenetic first lap to a GPVWC race I've seen without much contact for a long time. Oh, now that's a problem for the 70. That is Bruno Souza Ferreira. He must have made a mistake going through turn 2 because he's now fallen back 2 or 3 places. And now we're in the midst of another battle. Whoa, that's the YTF1 car. That is going to be, I think that's Lindberg. Yep, in the 13. Struggling. So now he's let Menno Klont, Roy Schroeten and Roy Vazil get a little bit closer. And that's tightened everything else up. This is the battle for the lead. Stefano, Gerber and Marquard. 3 cars battling for the lead of the race. Stefano defends. Gerber's trying to push him into a mistake. He goes a little deep into turn 10, but that's okay. He's going to get away with that. The YTF1 cars have a great opportunity here. They need to seize this in 3rd and 4th position. Watching these two battle, if I'm Matthew McCard, I'm going to stay right where I am. I'm not going to get involved. But no, I'm not Matthew McCard. Here he goes. He's going to try and make the move on Gerber. He leaves him enough space, but he's not going to give up the position. McCard has to brake earlier. Gerber brakes deeper because he's got the wider line, and he's going to get the run. Now that's Schroeter having moved up into 5th position. Vasil is now 6th. Clont is in 7th position, so the Snacks Racing car has moved up. Mlinek is 8th. Now, where is Shepherd? That's going to be an interesting one. According to my notes, Shepherd is already out of it. We've got 3 cars in trouble. Vandermuller, Van der Weide, and Shepherd. And it looks to me as though they're all in the pits and they're all out of the race. So they were victims of that first start. So a miserable season opener for Chris Shepherd. But here comes Patrick Gerber. Patrick Gerber in the Basvic Grand Prix car is going to try and run Stefano deep into turn 3, but Wesley Stefano is very wise to that one. He's not going to let him through. This is a brilliant run and a fantastic defence from the Dutchman Wesley Stefano. In the EJ Engineering car, he holds him at bay. He's not going to let him through. Patrick Gerber continues to fight his corner. It's another pole trying to go for the victory here. Patrick Gerber. Now he's got problems from Matthew Marquardt. He's going to try up the inside. No, he can't get close enough. And if he's not careful, he'll fall into the path of his Swedish teammate Johan Lindberg. Lindberg's getting in there. So what was a 3-way fight for the victory is now a 4-way fight for the victory as Johan Lindberg now sits on the back of his teammate. But there is the man who is pushing very hard indeed. Patrick Gerber in 2nd place. Now further back, we've got Roy Schroeter in 5th now, and Roy Vasil has got Menno Clont giving him a bit of a challenge. The fastest lap of the race, incidentally, is Roy Schroeter in 5th position, chasing these guys down. There he is. Then it is Roy Vasil, Menno Clont, and watch out behind you because there is the race 1 winner. Maciej Mlinek is going to try his best to move up into the top 6 if he can. A podium would be ideal. But he's already a good 8-9 seconds back. Well, no, he's not. He's 6.3 seconds back, so he could catch them up. A little bit of lag through turn 1, but the battle's still very feisty between our 4 leaders. Stefano, Gerber, Marquardt, Lindberg was purple in the 1st sector. Koenig was purple in the 2nd, and Schroeter in the 3rd. The fastest lap of the race, have a guess. Yep, it's Maciej Mlinek. Here we go. Gerber's going to have another go. He pushes Stefano wide onto the grass. This is Gerber's opportunity. He's really read the situation well. Can he hold it into the next corner? Yes, he's there. Brilliant driving from Patrick Gerber. He gets through. Now, what can Wesley Stefano do about the YTF1 cars? First Marquardt, then Lindberg. He's going to have an opportunity, but these two need to be very careful because they've got Schroeter behind and they need to close up on Wesley Stefano to get through. They're getting tightened up. And now, Maciej Mlinek, who's got another new fastest lap in the bag, a 1:36.6 now. He's getting onto the tail of Menno Clont. So the top 8, very close indeed. In fact, yes, it's now 5 in the leading train. Menno Clont is swarming all over the back of Roy Vasil, and Maciej Mlinek is closing up. Oh, that's a spinner! That is the man in 2nd! Oh, my goodness! That is game over! Game over for Gerber. So Gerber is out of it. Now, who else went with him? Was there more contact? So Gerber has gone from the race, dropped in at the wrong point, and also with him, Menno Clont. Menno Clont in trouble. So that has got Stefano back in the lead. So our race leader, Patrick Gerber, drops it at turn 13. There he is, his car coming into the pits. Crabbing like mad. Disaster for the pole. Patrick Gerber, the race leader, bins it at turn 13 on only lap 4. Now, this is the battle further back. That's David Junt running in 10th position with Van Gils. And there's a spinner further back. There's a spinner behind them. Now, who was that dropped it in the wrong position? That is the GPVWC Academy car. That's Koenig. That's the 101 of Koenig. Wow. Wasn't expecting him to drop it, but no, indeed, Philip Koenig has now only got Metcalfe and Cabrera behind. Here continues the battle. This is now this is going to be the battle between Rolf Baas and Gerrit de Vries. Up the inside goes Baas and drops it and goes off. Oh, Rolf. So close between those two, but unfortunately Rolf Baas is the one that loses the car and off the circuit. Now that's Mike Quint. There's early. And then we've got Maciej Mlinek has managed to get up into 4th position, or is that 5th place now? Well, it's 4th. Now he's got the 2 YTF1 cars. Here we go. Oh, that's a tight move. Can he make it stick? Lindbergh's not giving him any space at all. He's going to go the long way round. How on earth did he find the grip on the outside line? And Maciej Mlinek is going to move up into 3rd position, but he's going to have some problems here because Lindbergh and Vasil are both getting in there. Vasil's going to try and drive down the inside of both of them. He's going to leave his braking very late. He tags him. Oh, they've gone. Maciej Mlinek spins. So too does Lindbergh. So too does Vasil. It was just too ambitious. Goodness me. Pandemonium reigning in the second race here at Albert Park. And this gives Roy Schroeten the lead. Roy Schroeten now leads it here. 2nd is Matthew Marquardt. And 3rd, would you believe, is James Early. But there are the leaders, Schroeten and Marquardt. James Early is now in 3rd position. What a great race this would be for the TTF Racing driver. There he is, in front of our pole sitter for this race, Wesley Stefano. Then it is Mike Quint in the leading Scuderia Basilia car. Sousa Ferreira is 6th, and then it is Maciej Mlinek. And next up, it's David Junt. David Junt has put his Downforce Racing car in exactly the right position, and he is there in P8. So, a positive start to the season then for Maciej Mlinek, turning sour, but he has got time to fight back. We're on lap 6, and Schroeten, his main rival, leads the race. Now, this is a big problem for Maciej Mlinek. Roy Schroeten has been very careful, and he's put himself in the right place at the right time. That is Vasil and Paul Joseph we were just looking at there, the men rounding out the top 10. There's Stefano, there is Quint, early in 3rd. A long way in front in 3rd position. That's the 2nd place man, Matthew Marquardt, and Roy Schroeten has just done a purple 3rd sector in his bid to get away from the rest of the pack. This is perfect for Roy Schroeten, 2nd in race 1, and he's looking odds on for the victory in race 2. This would make him the championship leader. So Roy Schroeten really reading the situation beautifully. Matthew Marquardt is not far away in 2nd place. A 1.5 seconds between them. On that last lap, there were only 0.04 of a second difference in lap times. There's Mike Quint running in 4th, ahead of Wesley Stefano. And there's a battle going on. That is David Junt going round the outside, and he tags! He tags the Blue Voss! That is Roy Vasil going backwards. Oh, I don't know what the officials will have to say about that one, as in the background one of the Red Arrow cars goes off. That looked to me like Thomas Cabrera dropping back. Oh, and there's more damage. That's one of the Mighty 4th cars, having lost a front and a rear wing. Now, which car is that? That's the 25, I think. So that is going to be... I'm trying to see who the 25 is. That's Paul Joseph. Paul Joseph has gone off the road somewhere. We didn't see what happened, but Paul Joseph, look at the car, struggling to keep it in a straight line. Wow, so many drivers now in trouble because we've had Menno Klot come into the pits with damage. Johan Lindbergh has ended up in the pits as well. Not sure what he's doing down in 22nd, but that's where Lindbergh is now. I think he's actually out of the race now. So we've lost Lindbergh, we've lost Gerber, Onwin, Shepard, Vandermuller and Van der Weide. And we lost Wilt before the start, so that makes it, I make it 22 cars still running. Schroeten leads, Marquardt 2nd, Early, Quint, Stefano and Junt is the order. And there is Junt in 6th position, trying his best to hold off the attentions of Maciej Mlinek, the race 1 winner. David Junt doing a good job in the downforce car. That livery designed by Lux Liveries. And there is the battle going on further back. This is Gerrit de Vries and Roy Vasil. Now, Vasil needs to re-establish himself. He got himself a little bit too eager earlier on. Now he needs to put off a good move on Gerrit de Vries. Careful. Nicely done. That was textbook. Absolutely beautiful. Through turn 4, and he's already dropping Gerrit de Vries like a lead brick. So that's a good move there from Roy Vasil. Now, he needs to get on terms with Terence Grech, his own teammate who's up the road. Now, what are they going to do here? Is team strategy going to come into play? Is Terence going to be asked to move aside from their team manager? Difficult to tell. Well, we've got a few drivers out of the race, as we said. And that is the car at the back. That is Demetrius' car right at the back. Let's talk you through the retirements very quickly. Van der Weide out. Vandermuller out. Shepard out. Onwin out. Gerber out. Lindbergh out. Joseph now out. And Sousa Ferreira out as well. So that means there's only 20 left. They are dropping rapidly in this race. But now, having made his way past David Junt, that is Maciej Mlinek up into 6th position. His next target, that man, Wesley Stefano. There is Mike Quint. Fastest lap of the race from James Early. He is really flying in this race. Doing a cracking job as he came across the line last time, a 1:36.5. And then it's Matthew Marquardt in 2nd position, still only 2 seconds away from Roy Schroeten. So as Roy Schroeten looks odds on to take his first win of 2017 in the Formula Challenge, and after his 2nd place earlier on, he will be the championship leader without hesitation. We're on the 9th lap. We've gone past half distance, and David Junt still giving pressure to Mlinek. These are the two Blue Vos Motorsports cars. Grech ahead of Vasil at the moment, with Gerrit de Vries lining up the end of the top 10. But he's got pressure of his own. That is Matthew Klipp. Good work from Matthew Klipp to come back in the Royal Blue racing car. We haven't seen much of that team so far in the opening weekend, but this is a good drive from Matthew Klipp as he runs in 11th position. The next man is Philip Koenig, recovering in the GPVWC Academy car in 12th position. There's Matthew Klipp. Good run from the 50. Beautiful livery this year as well, and that's the GPVWC Academy car in the generic colours of the championship. Still looks very stylish in and of itself. Next up is Brett Metcalfe further back, and he's struggling at the moment to deal with the permanent team driver in the Downforce Racing team, the Dutchman Rolf Baas. Baas brakes very late for turn 9, and he wants to get a good run off the turn. Ooh, careful. Trying to hold his position there at the front of this little battle. Brett Metcalfe, he wants to move. Rolf Baas is getting very hungry. Don't make the move here. You're not going to get past him. But you've given him enough pressure that he might make a mistake on the way out. Rolf Baas has another look at Metcalfe. TTF Racing have a very entertaining 2nd race at the moment. Brett Metcalfe there in 13th. His teammate running in 3rd. Careful! Oh, that was close. Rolf Baas getting very much in this one. Back end steps out. Oh, right. Now, we might see a bit of team play there. The two Blue Vos cars close together, but this is an interesting one because Wesley Stefano is being caught by Maciej Mlinek. Now, is there going to be a swap for positions? Well, at the moment, Terence Grech is not moving over for Roy Vasil. I expect it will probably happen in the next corner or so because he can't afford to sacrifice too much time here, Roy Vasil. He's certainly been the faster of the two drivers over the course of the weekend. In fact, to prove the point, Vasil's fastest lap time in this race is 0.4 of a second quicker. Get out of the way, let me through, I'm quicker. And that's the move. Up towards turn 9, Terence Grech making him work for it. Come on, are you quicker? Yes, you are. On you go then. That was close. They almost danged wheels there. And now that's a mistake from Klipp. He was trying to avoid de Vries, and that's allowed Philip Koenig to get through. So Philip Koenig gets by. Meanwhile, we just briefly saw Metcalfe versus Baas, and here comes Baas for a move on the inside, perfectly timed, up the inside, no contact, bang, once, twice, and somehow neither of them spins. That was very close indeed. That is as close as you can get to hitting your opponent without going into the wall and destroying your car. It couldn't get any closer than that. Metcalfe holding on in front of Rolf Baas. He goes right across. He's deliberately trying to hold him back, and the Spaniard Tomo Cabrera is getting a brilliant view. Defending like crazy now, but Baas is just going to drive right round the outside. Great move from Rolf Baas. I wonder if in that little bit of contact, Brett Metcalfe has got some damage because he was very tentative into the braking zone for turn 13. So maybe, just maybe, oh, that looked like a bit of a battle. Oh yes! That's Maciej Mlinek trying to go for Stefano, and Stefano spins. Now, if that is judged by the race officials to have been deliberate contact, Maciej Mlinek might be in major trouble here. Now, that is a big problem. That drops Stefano down to 9th behind Terence Grech. But Maciej Mlinek is now behind his teammate Mike Quint. 4th and 5th with David Yunt in 6th position. Now, there is Maciej Mlinek. Now, he is the man under scrutiny, and you can see he's definitely got damage to his car on the front wing. Both the end plates on either side of the car are missing. Now, that could be quite a big problem for Maciej Mlinek. He might not have the same front end grip he had before. Oh, that's a spin. Now, is that Hoekstra? Is that Hoekstra that's gone off the road there? Or is that Roy Schroten, the race leader? Surely that can't be Schroten. No, it's not. There is Roy Schroten. Don't do that to me again, boys. Very irritating when you've got one at the front and one at the back. But it is Hoekstra that went off. And I think his race is now run, unfortunately. So Rienk Hoekstra becomes the latest retirement. Well, Bruno Sousa Ferreira, I said he was out of the race. He's not. He's in. He came into the pits to repair the car, but he has got going again. So we've lost Hoekstra, Lindberg, Gerber, Onwin, Shepard, Vandermuller, Van der Weide, and then we had the non-start from Wilt. Oh, that's a big tank slapper there for Maciej Mlinek. That's Mike Quint as he tries to close up on James Early. So he's been systematically chipping away at James Early's pace, but at the moment, James has got enough in the tank here. We're on the 12th lap, 4 to go. And Mike Quint is doing a good enough job to hold on to this. This is the battle now for 10th position. Gerrit de Vries, Philip Koenig and Matthew Klipp. 3 cars, all in a good battle. The Holland Racing Team, the GPVWC Academy and the Royal Blue Racing Machine all battling away. Philip Koenig looks very tasty here for a move. He's getting close to Gerrit de Vries. Was there a little bit of contact there? I'm not sure. But Philip Koenig is working hard. Gerrit de Vries coveting that inside line. Philip Koenig braking in good time. That's a mistake from Gerrit de Vries. Is there enough of a gap on the inside for Philip Koenig to dive? He's going to go. And I think Klipp's going to try and go with him. He's not close enough, so Philip Koenig's going to get the move done on his own. He shots across. There you go, and Gerrit de Vries wobbles mid-corner. This is an opportunity for Klipp to come by now. Klipp was much stronger through the apex. So down to turn 13. Watch out, Gerrit. You're going to have to defend again. Klipp is not going to hesitate. Oh, no! Contact! Gerrit de Vries moved across in the braking zone there by the look of it, and Klipp is not going to be happy. Well, unfortunately, it was Klipp that came off worse. Fortunately, they're so far ahead of Rolf Bass that he didn't lose the position. But that is not going to change the fact that Klipp is going to be a very irritated chap. Now, here's the battle between James Early and Mike Quint for 3rd position. The final place on the podium with 3 laps to go. James Early, eat my dust, it says on the rear wing. Unfortunately, that is exactly what Mike Quint is doing, and he doesn't want to do it anymore. Get on with it or get out the way is Mike Quint's message at the moment. Schroten leads. Marquardt is still there in 2nd place. Marquardt in the YTF1 car. Oh, Quint gets very deep in the braking zone on the back of Early. Hasn't quite been able to get there yet. Now they come round the far side. Early defending beautifully. Making him go the long way round. That's good. Then chops across to get back into the line for 11 and 12. James Early driving beautifully. He knows that Quint is faster. 0.4 of a second quicker in terms of their best laps, but if he just holds on for another 2 and a bit laps, he can still get this place on the podium. Mike Quint was 3rd in race 1. If he can get 3rd in race 2, he'll be 2nd in the championship behind Roy Schroten, and that's where he wants to be. If they can't win, they can at least get 2 cars on the podium, but James Early is trying to stop that from happening. Maciej Mlinek is behind this battle in 5th position, but now it looks like Quint's going to get very racy down to the first corner. James Early's going to have to defend like mad. He's going to open the door. He's just going to let Mike go at this rate. He does. James Early just lets Mike Quint go. Now, is he playing the percentages or did he genuinely not have a chance? No, he's going to come back and have another go at him into turn 3. James Early tries again. But now Quint is on the defensive. Quint slides. Early gets the car crossed up mid-apex. And I'm not sure he's going to get another chance, although Quint does run wide. James Early's going to come back at him now. James Early's on the offensive. Mike Quint having to defend again. Not a good place to overtake, so just hang back a minute. Watch to see what happens. He runs a little bit deep in the grass, but he's still close enough to challenge into turn 9. They come up through the sweep. What will Quint do to defend? No, Early's going to try and get a good sweep out of the corner. He's got a great run, but so too does Quint. It's stalemate. 2 laps to go. But James Early has just got to stay with him. Quint is swerving around all over the place. Early's going to try and go deep. Tucks in. This is a good chance into turn 13 now for early. Quinn moves right across. Don't you even think about it. James Early's going to try. Quinn holds him off. That's a banzai move on the next lap, but not this one. James Early knows he's got to keep a car with all four wheels and both wings on it for the moment, but I think he's just given up the ghost there. Hesitating has given Mike Quinn a break. It's only 2 car lengths, but I think that might be enough as we go into the final lap. Roy Schrutten leading. Marquardt second, Quint third, Early fourth, Mlinek in fifth, Junt in sixth, Vasil, Grech, Stefano and Koenig rounding out the top 10. But I think Quint has got enough in the bag here to hang on to this third position as we watch the top 10 drivers coming through. There is Wesley Stefano, our pole sitter. He's done well. He's in 9th position. And there is Koenig having fought his way back to 10th. There's De Vries in 11th. Clip is 12th. Baas ahead of Menno Klont, who's recovering quickly. Then Tomu Cabrera, Metcalfe. Then it is Van Gils in the second of the TFF cars, I believe. No, that is Van Gils. Battling it out with Breslin. No, that's Metcalfe versus Van Gils. I'm sorry, Breslin is behind these two. Then it is Joseph. And then Sousa Ferreira. And finally, Dimitris. But this battle looks pretty tasty, doesn't it? Metcalfe versus Van Gils. 16th position is being waged over between these two. They go into the final lap, and their battle should be a fine one. Looks like wherever you look, the TTF racing cars are in a squabble as Brett Metcalfe desperately tries to hold off Dave Van Gils. And Van Gils has got a good run. We're about to see further back, Roy Schrutten should be coming through to take the checkered flag as Van Gils goes for the move round the outside. Beautifully done there, Van Gils, right at the bitter end. But Roy Schrutten is going to come through and take the checkered flag in fine style. Here he comes. Checkered flag time for Roy Schrutten. Second in race 1. A victory in race 2. Thank you very much indeed. Matthew Marquardt is second. Great run from the YTF1 driver. Mike Quint is third. Good battle there with James Early. And look at Roy Schrutten. He's delighted. 5th position, under a cloud potentially for Maciej Mlinek. I wonder what the stewards will think of that manoeuvre with Wesley Stefano. And there comes David Junt, 6th position. I think the team boss will want him to stay all year. Roy Vasil in 7th. Terence Grech is in 8th. Wesley Stefano 9th across the line. Philip Koenig rounds out the top 10. Then it will be Gerrit De Vries in the Holland Racing Team car. Matthew Clip in the Royal Blue Racing Machine. He's got a little bit of a grievance. Rolf Baas in the Downforce car. Menno Klont in the Stax Racing Machine. It will be next behind. So a bit of a sour second race for Menno Klont. Good work there from those two. Rolf Baas just coming through in front of, or just in behind Nicholas Demetris, who was lapped on his way to 21st position. Bruno Sousa Ferreira was lapped likewise on his way to 20th. Through come Menno Klont, Tomo Cabrera, Dave Van Gils, Brett Metcalfe, Mark Breslin, and Paul Joseph. Here they come, those two, in the mighty 4th cars. Bit of a quiet race for those two, but at least they brought both their cars home in one piece. May didn't. And on that subject, we lost Hoekstra, Lindberg and Gerber after their collision on lap 5. Onwin, Shepard, Vandermuller and Van der Weide. Some big names there in particular. Lindberg, Gerber and Shepard all falling foul. But there you are. We have a championship leader. His name is Roy Schrutten. A win and a 2nd place. Very much a good day at the office for Roy Schrutten in the Thunderdog. For Maciej Mlinek, well, he was great in race 1. Race 2, he was desperate at times, wasn't he? He's going to have to go back to the drawing board on that one. But a great performance then from Roy Schrutten to take the victory in the 2nd race. And that has really kicked us off with a bang in GPVWC Formula Challenge for 2017. Wow. I need to get a breath back after that. Absolutely magnificent. 2 different winners then. Maciej Mlinek and Roy Schrutten after a great performance then in their first race. And that is a great way to start the year. Of course, Maciej Mlinek is still a new boy to the championship, don't forget. He only made his debut in Hungary last year. And he was in the top 10 straight away. So this is Maciej Mlinek coming through to get his first win this weekend. And the other man in the equation, of course, Roy Schrutten, well, it's a great start to his season. And considering that this is his first weekend in the championship, I believe, he's done an absolutely cracking job as well, and he leads the championship. So, congratulations then to Roy Schroeten after an absolutely fantastic run. And let's see what happens next as a result of the post debrief for all of the teams and drivers. You have to give credence to James Early. He did a fantastic job in 4th position. Mike Quinn was very solid, 3rd position in both races. That makes things very strong for him next time. So, yeah, things look pretty good. And we've got plenty of reasons to be happy. So let's see if we can have, wherever we possibly can, a word with a few of the drivers from those races. We'll try and get a word if we can. Fantastic display in that race from Roy Schroeten, taking the victory in fine form. So we'll take a quick pause. Don't disappear, because we'll hopefully try and get a word with some of the players and move makers in that first weekend of the 2017 Formula Challenge season. Okay, so let's try and get a word with a few of the drivers then in the first round of the 2017 championship. It's been a bit of a tough race for some, but it's been a great weekend for others. Maciej Mlinek getting a top 5 in both races, a win in race 1 and a 5th in race 2. Schroeten 2nd in race 1 and 1st in race 2. So some positives moves there. Let's see if we can have a chat then with a few of the drivers from that race. We'll see who is available, and we'll see who is able to have a chat with us. I'm not sure, actually, if we are going to be able to speak to anybody. We're still working out the new technology for 2017. So bear with us for a moment. We will try and have a word if we can. Okay, so I'm being told, unfortunately, for this first round of the championship, I'm afraid we are going to... Oh, no, my apologies. I thought for a moment we were going to struggle, but no, we are going to get a few drivers in to have a chat to. So let's see if we can grab a word. First of all, we will have a look and have a chat with... let's see which drivers are available at the moment. Apologies, because we really should be able to get a word with a few of the drivers in the... race proceedings. Oh, apologies. Hang on a second. Do apologies. I apologise there. Let's see if we can grab a word with a couple of the drivers who made the race so special. So let's see who we've got in the broadcast room then to see who we can have a word with then in this first race of the championship. It's been a very entertaining day at the office so far, as we know. So let's see who we've got, first of all, in the broadcast room to have a chat too. It looks like David Yunt is here to have a chat with us. David Yunt, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm fine. Thanks.
So, David, two very interesting first races of the 2017 season for you. How did you find race one?
My race one. It was a nice view from the back of the grid, seeing all these nice cars there. Um, but I kind of did it on my own. I did actually want to start it because I was receiving still help because I was not really sure where to set up, and apparently it was not good, at least for me. And I just, well, made some changes and then said, I'm just going to start from the back and let's see what happens. Maybe something happens. And then the start was all nice and tidy. And then at the end of lap one, some people came together at a fast left-right-hander. I slammed the brakes. I just avoided losing anything, but I had flat spots for the rest of the race. So it was not very easy, but with just being consistent, keeping the pace up, I managed to go to P14 in race one. So I was already happy that I got the points in the first race.
Okay, and obviously race two was a very different story. You really managed to get yourself into the fight for the top 10, and there was some pretty good battles, particularly with our race one winner, Mathieu Mlinek.
True. I had some. I don't know. I'm sometimes known for avoiding some really horrible luck because there was one car with like no wings ahead. I was diving through two cars. Then I got a tap from behind. Then I was kinda connected to the guy who had like no wings, I think. It felt like I lost my own wing because I was slipping all the way in last turn, but managed to get away and was like up to P9 or something. And at that point, I was just trying to make myself feel comfortable again because could have been ended in tears there. And yeah, I was following. I think Wesley was up ahead of me, Marcia behind me. Then I made a rather dumb mistake to go wide there, let him pass. Then we're just both following Wesley. It was also a nice pace from everyone there. And yeah, it looked like Marcia tried to go the outside. At the outside, Wesley I think went wide. They both had that well contact. Then Wesley spun sadly. And I didn't do enough for training. I couldn't really match Marcia's pace. I was happy I could match enough of the pace of Roy behind me to keep P6. So I'm happy enough with these two results because I was not really expecting to be so high up, especially in race two, but I take it gladly.
Okay, well, I've got to ask you the awkward question now. After such a strong weekend, are you staying for the rest of the championship? Because obviously you were only meant to do round one. I'm guessing not.
Oh well, I'm like somewhere else. I'm taking it like one by one, but it was a good start. So tough to say. If it's gonna go work as well, like the car's feeling nice and such, then I'll probably be back. But I can't make clear statement right now. But well, just having enjoying the moment now that I've done so well this time and did not retire. So yeah, maybe not. We'll see.
Well, it's great to talk to you, David. Thank you very much, and a great effort for the first weekend of the season. Well done. Good job. So
Thanks.
let's.
Same to my teammate, by the way.
Yes, Ralph Barcy did do a very good job. Let's have a chat with the man who is now second in the Drivers' Championship by my math, Mike Quint, after two podium finishes. Mike, not a bad way to start the season.
No, it's a great way to start the season.
So,
I didn't.
yeah, I was just going to say, you had battles in both the first and second races to have to fight your way there, but race one, it wasn't actually as easy as you made it look.
No, I had a few moments, and I think it was lap 10. The first 9 laps were pretty clean, pretty non-crashed for me. I saw people around me spinning and crashing, but I got around it pretty clear. And then I kind of lost my concentration. I went off and Chris overtook me. And I saw Chris crash, so I cruised home in P3, and that was the result.
And then obviously race two, sorry, you were having to fight so hard to get back into third position, and there was some, great battling right at the end, in particular with James Early.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to be so quick, but I really had to fight for it. And in the end, I made the move stick, and I kind of was afraid for him to come back, but unfortunately for him and good for me, that didn't happen.
Okay, so what's going to happen now for the team heading to the next round of the championship? Race 2 at Sochi. What's going to need to be, what's going to need to make an improvement? Where can you find a bit more time?
I think the setup was good, but I think I didn't practice enough on race pace. I practiced way too much qualifying, so in the race I still made a few mistakes. I think I can practice more for the race, and well, we'll see.
Okay, well, it's good to talk to you, Mike. Thanks very much. We'll turn to your teammate now, race 1 winner, the pole sitter, and the pole at the top of the table for the first part of the race, at least, Maciej Mlinek. Great performance, Maciej. It was pretty clean and simple, race 1, wasn't it?
Race 1 was just managing the gap and go calmly until the end. Nothing special.
Yeah, it seemed pretty straightforward, and then obviously you had to start 12th for race 2, and more times than not things got pretty hairy.
Yeah, I had a moment on turn 1 when I was free wide with Johan and Roy, and I collided with Roy. I don't know whose fault was it. I think DC will say this, and later I had the contact with Bruno, who I apologized huge because it was very stupid mistake from my side. I hope he will take this apologize.
Yeah, of course you had the moment with Bruno Sousa Ferreira, but then you also had an interesting one later in the race with Wesley Stefano. How did you see that incident?
I think he just wanted to brake later than me and went completely across the track like Rosberg in Austria, and when he tried to exit the corner he just spun out, so I gained position anyway.
Okay, so a race victory and 3 podium finishes in the 4 starts you had for this first weekend. You head to Sochi now. Can you maintain that level of pace? Because you only managed to get the pole position by very, very little.
It will be tight in quali in Sochi also, and I don't know what.
Okay, well, no, thanks for talking to us, Maciej. Great performance in race 1 and great fight back in race 2. Good job. Let's move on to one of the drivers at various moments of chaos at various points, Bruno Sousa Ferreira. Bruno, it was an entertaining first meeting, shall we say?
Yes, it was. It was okay, to be honest. First race of the season, I think it was pretty good for us.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch because you had some good opportunities for some good overtakes in the race, but it just looked like such a clean first race of the season. It was fantastic to watch.
Yes, I'm actually surprised about that, going through the past seasons, but it was good. It was good to see that. I think it sets a precedent for future races. Okay,
so and obviously we talk about race 2. It got pretty entertaining at times. Did you feel that race 2 went okay for you, or could there have been opportunities to do better?
Of course, it could have been better, but I think the incident with Maciej, it was just a racing incident. To be honest, I think the car coming out of the pits probably should have waited for everybody before going to the apex, because I think that's what really slowed me down, and I think Maciej couldn't judge the speed differential properly, and that caused the accident. But apart from that, it was okay.
Yeah, it was an entertaining weekend, and you made it very watchable. Thank you, Bruno, for your efforts, and we'll see you again at Sochi. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's have a chat as well to Chris Shepherd, who was the fastest driver at various points of the race meeting. Chris, how do we say this? That was the weekend that got away, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, hi Jake. Yeah, just gutted, really. But live and learn. Just don't try and push too much. I mean, when I got clean air in front of Mike, I just thought, well, just try and put some fast laps down. I think I posted a fastest lap of the race, 35.8, but then just got a bit complacent, and the amount of laps I've done in testing and not run wide onto the sausage, because that's what happened. And yeah, but there you go.
It must be so difficult when you're in the heat of the battle as well, because it was so close between 3, 4, 5 of you in the early stages. It must have been really difficult to keep your resolve.
It is. I mean, this is really my first real competitive single-seaters. I've done a bit of the historics, in R Factor 2. I did a Super Cup race last season, so yeah. I mean, I'm happy with the way it's gone, but it's just a bit raw at the minute, you know.
Absolutely. And then, of course, you know, in race 2, because of that, you had to start a long way down the field. We were obviously going to see you charging through, and I guess the first lap antics just kind of ran away with it.
Yeah, I avoided a couple. I was cautious, and I just ended up having 3 cars in front of me spin. I just had absolutely nowhere to go.
So obviously now, I guess you have to hit the reset button really for Sochi, but in terms of pace, there's a lot of positives for you to take from this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I did a lot of testing. I found a nice balance with the car for this round. I went totally in the opposite direction. I mean, in pre-season, I had a real low downforce setting, which was great on the straights, but it wasn't, as you can imagine, that awesome in the corners. But yeah, I've took a different approach, and it feels really nice, to be honest. I do feel quite comfortable in the car, at least at this track. I mean, Sochi isn't one of my favourite tracks, so
okay,
we'll have to see how it goes. Good job on the broadcast, by the way, Jake.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you. You know, I'm very proud to be part of the family. I hope everybody bared with us. It wasn't very clean and slick at times, mostly my fault on that one, but we're getting there. We're getting there slowly and surely. But thank you, Chris, for a great pair of races from you. I mean, obviously second one not so great, but that wasn't really your fault on that one. But we're looking forward to seeing the faster, more slicker Chris Shepherd next time at Sochi. I'm sure you'll be back with a vengeance. Good stuff.
Yeah, let's hope so. Thanks, Jake. Cheers.
Good man. Right, over to your teammate, Menno Clant. Menno, an entertaining weekend for you as well, because very similarly to Chris, you definitely had the pace, you definitely had the speed, but the roll of the dice just wasn't in your favour at times.
Yeah, well, I was very unlucky today, but I must say the general balance of the car was very poor. So over one lap, I was quite fast and I was quite happy, but with more fuel, it was difficult, and I trained a lot with a lot of fuel. But yeah, it didn't work, and of course, yeah, then you still want the best result, and of course that's right. But I think I was a bit unlucky in race 2. I hit Patrick, and yeah, I think I couldn't avoid him when he was crashed by somebody. So yeah, it was it was very sad, because I hope more, and if you started P4, then you hope 2 times P5, and yeah. And the balance wasn't there, and I think if the balance were there, I think I would have challenged for a podium. But yeah, sadly, there was no balance. But still happy with the points I got today.
Yeah, I mean, race 1, it was difficult, and there were times when, you know, you were able to pick up the pieces when things, you know, went awry for others. But race 2, it just looked like, not just from you, but from other drivers around you, it just ended up looking a little bit comic at times when you were desperately trying, you know, to stay out of trouble. Yeah,
that was very true. It was very difficult if you go offline of the idle racing line, and yeah, it was in general very difficult. I think I nearly did no overtakes, at least full speed overtakes. I only overtook people when they made mistakes. It was in general very difficult, but yeah. I really don't understand, because 2 weeks ago in the preseason test plus race, the car was feeling amazing. I could do everything with it, even with more fuel. But today the car was a handful, and yeah, then you're needing to put all your hard work into keep the car even on track, and yeah, you can't focus on doing clean and fast laps.
Okay, well, just one more question quickly before we wrap up, Menno. Obviously, your drivers in the GPVWC Academy were out there as well. Philip Koenig, in particular, I mean, what a revelation he's proved to be in his first weekend. The speed that he is showing, you know, 4th for the vast majority of race 1, and, you know, putting in such a great comeback effort in race 2. That kid is something special, isn't he?
Yeah, he is very, very special, and I think I know that already. But yeah, Academy is only there for him for 1 or 2 races, because that's what Academy does. So I'm wondering if he wants to do a full season, if some team will pick him up. But yeah, we will see.
Well, if David wants to move on somewhere else, there may become a seat available at Downforce. We might have to poach him. Listen, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in and chatting to us. My big thank you to Bruno Sousa Ferreira, to Chris Shepherd, to David Junt, to Maciej Mlinek, to Menno Clant, to Mike Quint, and finally as well, you know, to all you guys, the listeners as well, thank you guys very much indeed for chatting to us. It's been a really great pleasure having you in the interview room. Thank you all very much indeed. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of the first race meeting of the 2017 Formula Challenge season. We've had some incredible battles all the way through. If you missed any of it, do please go back and watch again. We're going to do the same thing tomorrow night, and we're going to be pretty cool with it because we've got the Super Cup starting again tomorrow night as well. Same time, same place, same circuit, and it's going to be just as frenetic with amazing races ahead of us. And one thing we do know from the Formula Challenge season opener is that it's going to be very tight indeed. Mike Quint and Roy Schroeton lead the points, but Maciej Mlinek definitely has the speed, with several drivers playing their cards very close to their chest in the season opener. We'll do it all again on the 21st of March for the second race weekend of the championship, which is at Sochi Autodrome in Russia for race 2. Make sure you're there and join me for that, Jake Sanson, here on the GPVWC Sim Racing channel and obviously through Sim News TV as well. We're looking forward to it, and we'll see you again tomorrow night.